Please, it's my sincere request. I'm going to request Konidala Pawankalyan ji to request him not to scream and shout. Please, thank you.
As I'm used to 2 hour speeches minimum, I request Master of Ceremony to remind me once my time is finishes. For me, as you all came from different parts of India, and who I am, and ambitious, want to serve the nation, I would like to share my experiences as the way how I established the party, and I think my experiences might give you a different kind of insights. So that might help you for your future and to contemplate, and if any mistakes I have done or anything which I have done good, maybe that would be something which you can understand about your own journey by looking at by understanding my own experiences. For me, when I had established Janasena party, for me, it's a national service, not for personal recognition, not for power, but for change. A change which is needed in our society, in our country, which we always wanted. Instead of sitting idle and having millions, having crores, having great popularity, I had really contemplated, would I end up like most of the people, or will I contribute at least a part of my life to the nation, to build for nation service? So suddenly it didn't happen after becoming an actor. Though I came from small beginnings, I came from a lower middle class family. My pain was always about the society which I used to watch around. The pain, the kind of sufferings people used to go through. Nothing happened to me at a personal level. I never had a shortage of food, reasonably good schooling. But my pain was towards society. When I started gaining knowledge about the society around me, I started reading, maybe looking at all our freedom fighters, reading their biographies. Somewhere I felt the immense urge and intense urge, like to do something for the nation, to do something for some kind of contribution for the nation. This started at the age of 14. So like you, when I started getting into my teens, I was looking forward to some kind of ideology which I would like to embrace. As Digvijayji said, look before you leap. So what kind of ideology would you lean into? What exactly should I embrace? So I was understanding Marxism, I was understanding socialism, I was trying to understand capitalism, especially when you're a kid growing up in the 80s, when you're a teenager in the 80s, there was quite a turbulent political atmosphere within India and around the world, right from Punjab terrorism, Khalistan terrorism to LTT, and across the globe, there is still unified, Germany was divided, and apartheid was there in South Africa. So all these different political climates around, at a global level, the national level, really drove me crazy. At one part, you look at the freedom fighters who had selflessly sacrificed their lives. And another way, always I was looking forward, the nation would be greater as every day passes by. Every day, I thought this is going to be another beautiful year next year. But I was quite disappointed as a kid. At the way they looked at the corruption, the way I looked at the nepotism. It was quite disappointing for me. Always my desire was a commoner to be something, a commoner to stand for the oppressed. But the society around us, it is only the dynastic rule, and everything really bothered me. So finally I became an actor, but that social consciousness never left out of me. I was quite keen. I was watching around, observing things around, reading a lot, absorbing a lot. But finally, when our state has been, Andhra Pradesh had been divided the way it got divided, and everything, I was looking at it, how the political leadership and everything, how conveniently it has become. The power politics really disturbed me. So instead of being an armchair thinker, I was thinking loud within myself, or contemplated for quite a time. I said, would I sit like everyone else, or would I come forward and do something? I thought, without any expectations, without seeking power, but I want to stand for the voice of the oppressed. I want to be the voice for the neglected. I want to be the voice who are really meek and helpless. That's how I formed Janasena party. And there were a lot of people, youngsters. Today, I said, all of you come from different parts of a country, and you're looking forward to become some kind of leaders and leadership, and you want to have an active role in politics. In 2007, when I had started Common Man Protection Force, which is supposed to stand for the oppressed and meek and helpless, I had met a lot of young people, both boys and girls. But what I had noticed in them was, at least most of them, they need change within shortest time possible, like like an instant noodle. And 2007, I looked at the youth there, then, the way they wanted everything immediate, they don't have the patience. Then that's what I thought, okay, let me walk the talk. So then from there onwards, I went on continuing. In 2014, I started the party. And I had lost my first election in 2019. Even I myself lost in both the places which I had contested. But that didn't stop me continuing my political journey. Because when I had started, so what must have made me to be here? What must have made me to continue here is, it is not for personal recognition. There is no ego in defeat. If you really love this nation, if you really care for our motherland, if you really care for the meek and helpless, nothing deters you. A defeat of any kind of defeat, nothing, it does not deter you. And my commitment for my nation came from our predecessors, our freedom fighters, looking at the sacrifice of Bhagat Singh at the age of 23. At the age of 23, some people around in this period, at this times, maybe they're going for hotel and pubs and partying. But at the age of 23, Bhagat Singh, he sacrificed himself to wake up the nation for the generations to come. And that kind of Bhagat Singh is inspiration to me. And so in spite of my failure as a political party to get into the Sansad, but what made me to continue is, we are able to help. Being a party, we just had got one seat, still we are able to help people. Very recently, I would like to share a case with you. Around 4 years back, a 14-year-old girl in Kurnool, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, a student from residential school. One day she bid goodbye to her mom. Normally she would come back by the evening, but that day she didn't turn up. And this happened in 2015. Her mother receives a call from the school authorities, residential school authorities, saying that your daughter is not feeling well. Please, would you like to come and see? Please take her home. By the time she goes there, she's dead. And it was like as if she hung herself. That's what the school authorities says. And later they realized she was raped and she was killed. And justice was not done. And that mother, after I had such a colossal defeat in 2019, these elections, I was sitting in my office, I was handling my own failure, and this mother of that kid, that girl, with her husband, and one of my youngest daughter, she comes and meets me. She shares her experience. It's like, Anna, this is what happened to my daughter. And everything is there, right from the certificates of she has been raped and everything, whatever has to be, the perpetrators has to be punished, but nothing had been done. And because they're powerful, the case is not moving forward. If it is in cinema, it is like, it's quite a dramatic scene. You go, do justice in 2-3 minutes and come out, and you get money for that. But in real life, I felt so helpless, so painful to look at a wailing mother who lost her daughter. It was churning for me, like, my stomach was churning looking at her pain and agony. And I said, and people whom we have to fight against, they're very powerful people, who has a lot of muscle, who has tons of money. Even for me, to fight against them was not an easy task. I told her, okay, I'll look into it. I don't know how to take it forward. Then I went ahead, slowly in 2-3 months, we gathered we gained some strength, we started addressing, and now finally a week back, we did a huge protest rally in our hometown called Kurnool, and we got the state government to make sure the case will be taken by CBI, and where the state government, for all these years, the previous regime neglected and the current regime neglected for a while. Now it cannot be. They could not do it anymore. You know why? It's because if we are committed, if I would have needed a seat, if I would have wanted to be a Rajya Sabha member, if I wanted to be a parliamentarian, if I wanted to be an assembly, things would have been different. But my purpose here is to stand for the people who are oppressed and helpless. And as long as I'm committed to it, I'm fine even if I lose multiple times. But I will stand for this nation, I'll stand for the weak and weak. So, as you all are maybe looking forward to gain something, paying 1,000 rupees to be here in this kind of seminar for 4 days, truly I have to appreciate you and truly applaud you for your commitment and for coming all the way from different parts of India. And I appreciate Rahulji to initiate all this in School of MIT of especially for such an eminent institution to take forward this kind of seminars, which would really help people. It's not just people who are within this auditorium. Pan-India, who are looking at this seminar, they really get inspired and influenced. And I truly appreciate you for your patience. And the only thing I would like